I got a take about Zach Wilson. Tell me if this is too hot or not. It might not all be Zach Wilson's fault. In fact, it's not all Zach Wilson's fault. This is not all Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson is the starting quarterback for the New York Jets with a first-time head coach who's a defensive coach. So his head coach can't help him, right? Robert Saleh can't help him.
Well, he can be he's a positive mentor. He's a big positive.
He can give him pep talks, but he can't help him once the game starts. No. His offensive coordinator is Matt LaFleur, who we have no idea if he's any good as an offensive coordinator. No clue. He never called plays before. His team has an offensive line that is less than desirable. The right guard, who I saw, Duke Manyweather, did this thing. I guess he's given up the second most pressures of any right guard in the NFL. That guy, I read a story in which he said that Zach Wilson needs to get rid of the ball quicker, which I'm sure is true. But, like, I don't know. Is that the guy who needs to be saying it? Zach Wilson needs to get rid of the ball quicker. So he's not exactly getting unconditional support from his teammates. And then on top of that,
well, that guy's probably getting screamed at uncontrollably by the offensive line coach.
But I'm not sure that's the ideal situation for the rookie quarterback in the New York media for your right guard to be telling everybody you need to get rid of the ball quicker.
True.
And his quarterback room can't help him. We're glad you're watching this video. Like it and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Also, subscribe to our podcast below in the description.
We're sponsored by Tito's Handmade Vodka.
Yes, we are. #1 vodka in America.
Savor responsibly. His quarterback room, the other quarterback in the quarterback room is a guy named Mike White, who is in his 4th year in the NFL and has never thrown an NFL pass in his previous 3 years. Okay? So he has as little support. I mean, this is as bad as it can get. Now, maybe Robert Saleh turns out to be a great coach. But if you just wrote all that on paper, first-time head coach, first-time offensive coordinator, bad offensive line, and no veteran quarterback presence in the quarterback room, you'd say that's a recipe for failure.
Yeah, I don't think you're crazy. I would say the #1 thing, because every year you're going to have an offensive coordinator that's never called plays, right? That gets hired for a job. That's going to happen probably for the end of time, because a lot of coaches, I'd say it's going to happen more and more, because a lot of these offensive coordinators are going to get hired from staffs where their head coach is the play caller, because that feels pretty prevalent. It feels more prevalent right now than it ever has been. Do you agree with that? And those guys are going to get hired from Andy, Sean Payton, Sean McVay, Kyle Shanahan, and they're just not going to be the play caller.
Yeah, we've seen multiple Eagles guys, Doug Peterson guys get hired.
Yes, it's going to happen. I would say the craziest fucking thing, because they drafted multiple offensive linemen in the last couple of years, and the left tackle got carted off the field a couple weeks ago. Like, you can't control an injury. To not have, you could have argued, like, listen, Alex, we will pay you $7 million to be the third-string quarterback and just help this guy out and just teach him. Or hell, hey, the Bears, we'll give you a 7th-round pick. Do you know that the third biggest cap charge on the Bears is Nick Foles? It's Allen Robinson, Khalil Mack, Nick Foles.
I think if Dalton, like, once Dalton's healthy, is Dalton back yet? Maybe he gets traded finally.
Dalton gets traded?
No, Foles.
Well, but he was, but like before, like in the training camp, when it's clear like Fields is going to be their #2, wouldn't it make sense if you're the Jets and you have some wiggle room with money, with a young quarterback, a young team, like, hey guys, I would say, I saw Alex, I didn't see him say this. I didn't realize he's going to these Monday night games and like is talking on the field, like with Steve Young before the game.
Oh.
He was at the game last night, and they asked him, because the topic came up about the rookie quarterbacks weekend, 2 touchdowns. I don't know if that factors in Trey's rushing touchdown. I'm going to assume it does, because Zach Wilson did not throw one. Fields did not throw one. Mack threw one.
Lawrence might have.
Yeah, so maybe it doesn't. Two. Maybe it doesn't factor in.
Yeah.
I think Lawrence threw one. Mack threw one. Mack threw a little lollipop. It was a pretty cool play by Kendrick Bourne. He kind of. So it doesn't factor in Trey Lance's, but 7 interceptions. It was a bloodbath for them all, right? They were really pretty bad. Mack has Brian Hoyer, Trevor Lawrence.
And Josh McDaniels.
And Josh McDaniels. We make fun of C.J. Beathard. C.J. Beathard's been in the league now going on 5 years. He's been on a Super Bowl team. He's been an active starting quarterback. Like, he can talk to a guy.
Played in a complicated offense for Kyle Shanahan.
Yeah, I mean, you could argue what they did to Zach Wilson in that quarterback room is malpractice.
That's what I'm arguing. I'm arguing that he is, if he's going to succeed, he's not going to get his best shot with the way they've.
I don't see how you couldn't justify his rookie year when you knew you were going to be terrible, not overpaying for an Andy Dalton type just to have around, an Alex.
And you said it, Nick Foles.
But didn't you tell me he wants to start? I mean, it feels like he's telling everybody he wants to start. Yeah.
Yeah, of course he wants to start. And maybe enough time, enough things happen, and maybe they do end up trading him somewhere where he could start because guys get hurt. But yeah, that's all. That was my Zach Wilson heat check.
Yeah, my best source that's just consistently, I would say he's right when I ask him about a player 99.7% of the time.
Oh my God, Balky?
No, this guy's nails. Works for the Chiefs. Actually,
get him a job.
Yeah, he's got a good.
They're not listening to him the last few drafts. I'll tell you that.
He's got a good job. That he thought that Zach Wilson, and I think a lot of people think about Zach Wilson, they're not the biggest Zach Wilson guys. And I think he is one of the more polarizing players over the last several years of, some people, Chris Sims, I don't even know, like, does Drew Brees even count when you make some Drew Brees made a bold statement, like, but you've been in the NFL, like.
Yeah, I mean, if you watch the tape, then I would count it.
But he probably hasn't, Like, to me, Sims, that to me is, I know he does the work. I know he's locked in. Like, he thought really highly of him.
Get in our DraftKings game. The link is below. Sign up at DraftKings with the code HAM.
Also, if you want to gamble, use mybookie.ag, promo code HAM1. Thursday Night Football, Burrow, Trevor Lawrence, mybookie.ag, promo code HAM1. And I think there were people in the league that thought he was going to be a star. There were other people that were like, I think he was like my fourth or fifth quarterback. Like guys that said he's definitely more physically gifted than Mac, but I think Mac's a better player. And he might just be a little overwhelmed. And to not have the help, that to me that's unacceptable. If I had a rookie quarterback, I have to have a guy. To me, the baseline would be like a CJ Beathard. But I have to at minimum have a guy who started games, who's smart and is a good character guy. Ideally, like Andy Dalton is probably the best, right? Like that type guy. If you can get him at 33 years old. I don't really know Flacco with Jalen. I don't know. Flacco's personality never seemed like the ideal guy, but like Dalton actually feels like the perfect guy.
Except Dalton just got paid $10 million to be a starter, so
I know. I'm just saying that player though.
Yeah. No, and maybe that is where he goes next year. It's why when I watch Zach Wilson is he running around playing backyard football, playground football. Maybe it's partly him.
Well, he's got a little playground to him.
No doubt, but maybe we should can we not just get like some bubble screens or something? Like, let's just get the ball out of his hands. Let's help him.
Well, the Jets coaching staff was first-time head coach, first-time offensive coordinator, first-time defensive coordinator, first-time special teams coach. All their coordinators and head coach had never been in that role.
First-time GM, second-year GM?
He'd been a GM now, I think, a couple years. And, he ran the drafts in Philly. So he's experienced. But I think part of it, when you're in his position, when you want to empower the coach, you just kind of let him pick a staff, right? You can't. It's a hard position, right?
My question is, did they empower the coach or did they hire a coach they can control?
They did. I mean, I suck. I don't even know what knocking on wood does. Greg Knapp was a guy who'd been a quarterback coach for a long period of time, and he died.
Yeah. That's significant.
I think that maybe in their mind, that was their backup quarterback. I mean, you and I had been talking about Greg Knapp, it feels like, for a decade plus. You always see him when you watch his team, and he was like a quarterback guy.
Yeah.
So that's...
Good point.
I just thought of that.
They tried.
But
yeah, no, it's a good point. That's
I would do both, though. I would say, well, you still couldn't find, some older player. I was watching the Charger game, and they go to the side, and Chase Daniel's there.
Still there?
He has value.
Is he in uniform?
He's in uni, yeah.
Is Easton Stick in uniform?
I think they kept all three.
How about, did you see the end of the Monday night game when Peyton's like, I watched all this Cooper Rush tape just in case? Why? Because he wanted them to put Cooper Rush in on like the last series.
Yeah, they kept three. And I wonder if they're Because why would you keep 3 with Herbert? I wonder if there's there's something to be said about having an older quarterback around, even with both of the guys.
Yeah, and they
right?
might really like Easton Stick for the future, but right now, this second, he's not good enough. Like Chase is better than him.
I even think Easton
don't
might
wanna
be
lose
the
him.
backup.
Oh, but if my question would be if Herbert got hurt in like a game that was tied at 30 with 8 minutes left, who's coming in that game?
Well, whenever anyone does the deep dives on Chase Daniel's actual play, it's pretty ugly, right? His best role is really on the sideline with the hat, being a mentor. But
Hype
when
man.
He
He's
plays,
like the guy with the wrapper that just swings the white towel and just says, we the best.
yeah.
That's
like
Chase Daniel.
I just went to the Chargers too deep. Yeah, I mean they have Chase as number 2, so maybe you're right.
But I've seen situations where it's dependent on the game situation. Like you got two quarterbacks, right? If you're down, if Justin Herbert gets hurt in the third quarter and the score is Raiders 24, Chargers 10, that might be Easton Stick, right? We need dynamic plays. If it's the reverse, Herbert gets hurt with a 14-point lead, it might be Chase Daniel. Sometimes it can be situation dependent.
Yeah.